This marked the beginning of the first ever electoral system in Islamic history, and arguably one of the earliest in the world. Before passing away, Umar radiallahu anhu gave a final piece of advice to the future caliph. O new leader of the Muslims, always fear Allah, take care of the Muhajirin and the Ansar. Protect the non-Muslim citizens under your rule as you would protect your fellow Muslims. Do not become a burden upon the people. After Umar radiallahu anhu was buried, the 6 companions gathered in a house as instructed. Interestingly, 3 of them were military commanders during Umar's rule, and the other 3 were civilians. Once the discussion began, all 3 commanders withdrew their names and gave their votes to the remaining 3 civilian candidates. Zubayr radiallahu anhu voted for Ali radiallahu anhu, Talha radiallahu anhu voted for Uthman radiallahu anhu, and Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas radiallahu anhu voted for Abdul Rahman ibn Auf radiallahu anhu. Now only 3 names remain: Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu, Uthman ibn Affan radiallahu anhu, and Abdul Rahman ibn Auf radiallahu anhu. At this point, Abdul Rahman ibn Auf radiallahu anhu stepped forward and said, "I do not seek the caliphate." This left only 2, Ali and Uthman radiallahu anhu. Ali radiallahu anhu was around 45 years old, while Uthman radiallahu anhu was nearly 70. Now, all eyes turned to Abdul Rahman ibn Auf radiallahu anhu, whose vote would decide the future of the Ummah. Instead of making a hasty decision, Abdul Rahman spent 3 days consulting the people of Medina. He visited senior companions, military commanders, the common people, women, even the slaves, asking them, who should be the next caliph? After widespread consultation, one thing became clear. Both Uthman and Ali radiallahu anhu were highly respected, but Uthman's popularity was slightly greater among the general public. This was due in part to his immense generosity. Uthman radiallahu anhu was one of the wealthiest Muslims and had given a great deal for the sake of Islam. When Abdul Rahman asked Ali radiallahu anhu, "Will you follow the Quran, the Sunnah of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and the example of Abu Bakr and Umar if you become caliph?" Ali radiallahu anhu replied, "I will follow them as much as I can." When the same question was asked to Uthman radiallahu anhu, he accepted it fully. On the 3rd day during Fajr prayer, the mosque of the Prophet was filled to capacity. It was so crowded that even Uthman radiallahu anhu could not find a place and sat at the very back. Silence spread throughout the mosque as Abdul Rahman ibn Auf radiallahu anhu stood before the people and called Ali radiallahu anhu forward. He held Ali's hand and asked the same question again. Upon receiving the same answer, Abdul Rahman released his hand and said, "I hand over this great responsibility to Uthman radiallahu anhu, and I pledge my allegiance to him as the new caliph of the Muslims." Ali radiallahu anhu was the first to give his bay'ah, pledge of allegiance, followed by the rest of the congregation. Uthman radiallahu anhu then ascended the pulpit of the Prophet, peace be him, and delivered his first speech as caliph. He reminded the people to detach themselves from worldly desires and prepare for the hereafter. At nearly 70 years of age, Uthman radiallahu anhu became the 3rd caliph. His first official order was to increase the salaries of the army and government officials. Letters were immediately sent to the governors in Kufa, Basra, Egypt, and other regions, informing them of the new caliph. For the first time, those letters were not signed by Umar ibn al-Khattab, but by Amir al-Mu'minin Uthman ibn Affan radiallahu anhu, and thus began a new era in Islamic history, the Caliphate of Uthman radiallahu anhu.